I don't need a microphone because I got a loud voice. So it's coffee talk with Feel Good Jacket.
No, that's not what you're
Wow, I'm holding on to a coffee. So take mine.
This is my eye. I got a boo-boo.
Shrapnel.
Yeah.
Stick shrapnel.
Stick shrapnel in the face.
That was the weirdest thing. Like, I've seen sticks break before, and I've always almost been hit by sticks while I'm playing, but like, I've never seen a drummer like just drop and like grab their face.
I thought he was upset that he missed a roll or something. He's like, I did it again!
Just defeated right there.
Right.
And all of a sudden he's like, no, he's really hurt, man.
We were talking like, imagine it got stuck. Like,
Yeah,
that
or
would've
even
been
like
awful.
under my eyelid or something.
Yeah.
If it hit me in the eyelid,
Yeah,
just have
it's
skin
just
hanging or
like
something.
right on your cheek. Like,
Yeah.
And really, like today, you looking at it, it's so small. Like you had a little bit of a black.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool if it totally went in your eye though. Then you'd have to be like a black, like a patch guy.
That's what I was telling
Pirate,
you.
yeah.
Dress up as a pirate.
Yeah.
The show would have
Or
been
wouldn't
so long.
I? You know, one of those ones where you're like, one eye moves, but the other, you'd be one of those freaky guys.
One of those guys.
Then I wouldn't be able to interview you though, because you'd be.
Whatever you do, don't look at him in the face.
Yeah, just look at his good eye.
Yeah. Don't even look at his eye.
It's funny.
So they probably want to know like who does everything. So Danielle does everything. That's basically the answer to that. She does everything.
Right.
She books all the gigs and all that stuff. And that's why we're coming to a city near you.
Yeah, but I like
or small
I like
town.
booking. It's exciting. I mean, I don't know. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
I want to get these down tighter. 'Cause like I've seen people do it when playing, and it looks really cool, but I can't figure out how to do it like timing-wise. There's like one where it's like finish it off.
I just like that. You should put your glasses on, please.
Yeah, quit fucking around. Quit fucking around.
I find it's a weird question because, as a, like first and foremost a singer, I'm like, well, I don't know. I started singing like when I started talking.
Pretty much,
Before I
yeah.
started talking, probably.
Just
You
came out
know?
of the womb like.
Just
Exactly.
hitting notes.
Yeah.
There's video footage of it. There's proof.
No.
Screaming out of the room.
Right. I don't know. When did you start playing music?
I started playing when I was about 6. Had a dad who was a drummer, played in country bands, and then I grew up playing drums in church. But I got my first actual set of drums, like a real set of drums, when I was 13. A blue set of Lubus.
Mm-hmm.
And those, I put good use to those drums for sure.
That's cool. But you say that was your first real set of
Real
drums.
drums.
You're gonna tell them about your first set of drums. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I used to have this. Set. It was like a kid's Fisher Price toy set, and so when my dad would be at rehearsals with people or going to church or something, I packed this fucking. Sorry.
You can swear whatever.
Go to church,
It's
man.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's YouTube.
Going to church and packing these drums around, and yeah.
Because he played music at church, right?
Yeah, he played drums. My dad played drums in the band at church, and my mom sang backup and choir or whatever you want to call it at church. And yeah, so go to church and a rehearsal, friend's place with my dad, and take these drums and beat away on them.
It's so awesome. I figured that'd be awesome. Like, wow, just sitting there with the adults, bashing away on your drum kit.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I remember it too.
That's
It was
sweet.
like it was black and silver, and it had these like tiny ass little drumsticks, probably about that big.
Yeah.
They just had these big knobs for heads on them. I lost those a couple times. And my dad, he like took drumsticks and he
Mhm.
cut them down to size for my hands.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's probably one of the earliest memories I have of playing drums. My mom said I was always banging out pots and pans and stuff though, as a kid.
That's
Yeah.
funny. You started out as a drummer.
Yeah, well, or at least using the drum kit for walking. Well, that's the first picture of me on a drum kit. It was like holding onto the kick drum, walking around the kit, holding onto the hi-hat.
Really?
I don't think I could walk across a room yet. I was just, close, but needed a lot of balance. So I was
Yeah.
doing that. That was at my grandma's house. Because my auntie played drums. And she just, maybe even just couple of years before that moved to go to the university or whatever, so her drum kit was still always there. So I would play that almost every Sunday because my parents would always visit my grandma on Sundays. But then I was putting piano lessons. Like,
That's always something I wanted
5.
to learn was piano. I've never learned
Oh,
piano. I play Happy Birthday like really well. That's about it.
On piano?
Yeah. Hot cross buns too. Just the intro.
That's funny. I did piano lessons, but I didn't appreciate being told what to practice.
Same.
I just wanted to like just figure stuff out and like write my own songs, but then I was also really self-conscious writing when my parents could hear me. So
You're like,
I didn't,
"Oh,
I was
Dad."
like, yeah, I don't know, I was just like weird about it. And I still am weird about practicing, like sometimes when other people can hear me. Like, it's nice that you're downstairs beating on the drums, Rob goes in the other room, I'm in here, and we're all just got our own space to
Organized
practice.
chaos.
Yeah, it's
Organized
that everyone just works. Like, that's the thing about this week that has been awesome. Like, we watched a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert last night, and watching that, it's like, oh man, we gotta practice more. But we just finished an 8-hour day of practicing. You know, stop for supper and
An injury break.
digest. And injury break. Yeah, we had an
Injury
injury break.
break.
We had an extra break tomorrow or yesterday. But you know, after a solid 8-hour day of just going, running these songs, making sure they're perfect for the show tomorrow. It's like you still watch that and you're like, man, we gotta practice more.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I definitely feel that for sure.
and the
Should say where the show tomorrow is, just for even documentation of the time of shooting the video.
well, yeah, it's March 1st. We're playing at the Bears Den in Fort Saskatchewan tomorrow. It's our first show as this in this form. Like, this is John's first show with us, and it's gonna be awesome. Like I said, I think we've put in more hours of practice just this week with John here than in any other form of the band. Just because John will play until the blisters are popping on his hands and he's blowing on them in between songs, and like we're just like, do you want a break, man? And he's like, no, we gotta go, we gotta keep doing it. Like, we've never had a drummer work this hard, and it's inspiring us to work harder too.
Yeah, and we could keep on going all day long because like, none of us had to go to our day job. Didn't have to go and freaking work at Canadian Tire or open the coffee shop.
Or get on a roof.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh darn.
I hope my old boss sees this. I hope he does it.
That's how that goes.
That's how that goes.
It's all in or nothing.
Well, yeah. You know,
Yeah, too much to fall back on, you'll fall back on it.
yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and there's been multiple people, I think, like, what's his name from the Guess Who? I think it was Burton Cummings said, if your plan B should be plan A. Like, you gotta be all in, and that's why, like, I've tried not to be. I don't feel like I was rude, but there's people that say, do you want to make some extra money while you're doing music? And I say, no, I don't have any energy to put into something else.
Yeah.
And it's strange because we watched some interview with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, and he said when they were starting out, they all had separate businesses because they didn't think they were going to make it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, I don't know, I'm just so the opposite. It's like, don't do anything except this. Live, sleep, breathe, eat music. And, I mean, we're either going to do something or die trying. Like, it's just when you love playing that much that you'll play through your blisters and everything. Like, and I was getting a blister on my hand yesterday from the bass even. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, and then you wake up today and you're like, well, now that's just hardened. It doesn't matter. Nothing, It's like, we can go do it all again. But I think the night before last, we watched that Foo Fighters documentary off Netflix.
Yeah.
And every time I see Dave Grohl talk, it's just so inspiring. Like, I woke up yesterday being like, we're gonna go be the biggest band in the world. And who knows? I mean, we're Canadians, so is that possible? I don't know. But like you said, if we just go and do it, then
You definitely try.
yeah. You've played in a few bands.
Nothing like this though. Nothing like this.
You said like a couple times a year you go and back someone up or something?
Yeah, well, played drums for kind of like a hip hop rap kind of DJ duo group, and it just wasn't my thing. I just did it just to play shows and did it because I was like alongside some friends. But I don't know, rock music, metal music, that's more my speed, and it's always been my dream to play in a band and go on tour, and a few short days away from doing that. So I don't know, it's all new to me and it's exciting, and I'm really happy to have this opportunity.
I think your excitement is rubbing off on us, because to me it's just like life is usual. Like, to me, I think if you can dream it, I'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Fuck it.
Like, anything is possible. You just have to figure out who is the person that is in charge of that, and who do they know that you've got to figure out how to get to that, and or what steps you have to take in your career to make that happen. Like, we're looking at endorsements and whatnot. It's like, okay, you have to do this, this, and this before you can do that next thing, and that's all it is.
Virtual reality glasses and be standing on the stage playing huge audiences, right? That's what we're...
Is that where it's going?
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
That'd be crazy, have like a VR concert, just play in the basement.
Yeah.
Just be broadcasted somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the future.
Well, you virtually could do that now, and I don't mean like virtually, like as in virtual reality. I mean like the Facebook Live thing.
Yeah.
People could be sitting at home watching your show.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The thing I think that virtual reality is going to do is going to bring back the bands that aren't touring. Like when all the members of AC/DC have passed away, you're going to be able to put on that virtual reality and be there front row watching AC/DC from 1974 or whatever year, you know.
Hell yeah, that'd be cool.
And be cool, but is anyone ever going to go out and see up and coming bands? Like, there aren't, like, out of the last, I don't know how many years, like, what bands have come out that are going to be those classic bands that are going to be around in 40 years from now? You're not getting the Rolling Stones and the Who and Aerosmith anymore. I think, like, really the Foo Fighters were one of the last.
Yeah.
And Jack White. But he's an anomaly. He's just a mad scientist.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out what the goals of humanity really are anyway. Their goals nowadays are not like the 60s. They're not trying to show how artful they can play music and how big of a show they could put off or, you know, play. I think the goals have kind of changed. I believe their goals have changed to how far up a computer's butt can we put our heads? You know, that's humanity right now. Like, everything for technology, they're just like rah rah rah. Let's just go headlong into technology world, I guess. Whatever that gets
but
you. Like,
at the same time, like, who was it? Steve Vai, I think, said that if you see technology as a hindrance, it will be. And if you see technology as a helper, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I was Snapchatting with a guy from Arizona today who's listened to our album on Spotify.
That's crazy.
Like, how do these people, or like, you go and look at our Spotify and there's people in Belgium and France that listen to it, and like all these different places, and how that was impossible. You needed a label 30 years ago or even 20 years ago to get your music out. So now it's easier, so there's more of it, but it's also, I don't know, there's not a lot of people touring. I think that's the biggest difference, is that if you just tour and tour and tour, which is our plan, well then eventually you'll create this underground following that'll support you. And as we've always said, as long as we make enough to keep doing it, you know, it pays the gas from one place to another, and then we keep doing it because you love it. So, and I mean, hopefully eventually you make some money, but if you're not, then your life has just been playing music. Well, that's not something to complain about either.
No.
Like, it's pretty awesome no matter how you look at it. And I think technology is great because you have to think it's great. If you think it's going to hurt you, well then you're only, you know, stabbing yourself in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
Holding yourself back. Don't be the old guy. Well, see, in my day we didn't have technology. What is this, Facebook crap?
Yeah.
I just have no longing. I never will. I'll go all for it and everything and stuff like that. But like we watch Ghost in the Machine and stuff like that. When society gets to that, where they could put your brain into a robot body,
We're doomed.
I don't know if we're doomed. I'm done. Like, I tap out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's it. Not interested in that at all. Like,
Well, and I don't know, like, when we talk to, let's say, like, your grandpa, who's a great musician, right? He played sax, but the rest of his band died, basically, right? We said, what, he's 101 right now.
Yeah.
He played until he was 93.
Yeah.
And pretty sure he stopped just because the rest of the band was...
It wasn't much of a band.
It wasn't much of a band. You outlived them all. But at that point, it's like, okay, so the thing you love, you can't necessarily do anymore because your body is failing you. So...
What's left after that?
well, exactly. Like, I've heard some people that are, you know, up there in age say, like, I'm kind of bored, you know, all my friends all tell the same stories, or they took away my garden, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever that was their passion, and yeah, what is left? You're just sitting around waiting because you have no purpose.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had a body that could still perform
Function.
certain things, then maybe you would still have purpose and people would want to live forever. But
Yeah.
right now, I know people don't want to live forever. I don't know. I don't want to live forever. I think it'd be cool, like, if I was a vampire and I could just, like, stay in this form
Forever.
forever. And then imagine how good you'd be. Then you could be the best, like,
Yeah, you won't age.
I'd be the best bass player ever. I'd have 200 years of bass playing.
Yeah. And you just hit the nail on the head. Everybody can swear that they want that robot body thing, but actually, I would say deep inside, what they want is like this form. They don't want to manipulate this or even add a freaking like a robotic eye to it. Like, how can you live forever natural? You know, in a natural form.
How you doing?
Mickey's our hype man. You wanna hype us up, Mickey?
Yeah!
This is our Dwight Yoakam set. Well, I'm back again for another night of trying to break free from this sadness that I can't seem to rest. I don't know. That's pretty funny, hey? Okay.
I don't think
Funny, I love this drummer here. He just kicks in.
He's the best!
Good job, John.
Johnny!
Anyways, this was like an introduction. We're gonna do a vlog on the road every week if we can. We'll if it gets busy, we'll try our best. But it'll be this is inside the jacket, so you get a glimpse of what we're really like, get to know us, and see what we're doing on the road and at home and wherever we may go. So this is us signing off.
This is a sign
Back
off.
to you, Jim.